All right, we're back with another session of Fourth and One. Topic of today's discussion is head coaching. All right, so let's get the ball rolling, fellas. Let's talk about all these new head coaches, new GMs that have been hired. Let's get it going, Nick.
I don't have anyone. Let me see. So I got, well, we lost. So 49ers lost Mike McDaniel, offensive coordinator, to the Dolphins. As
How
far
do
as the
you feel
impacts
about
for
that?
them. Huh?
How do you feel
How do you
about
think he's
that?
gonna do?
Yeah. How do
Dude,
you think he's gonna do?
I
What do
think
you think
he's
the
gonna
Niners
do
gonna do?
good, man. He's been with Shanahan for like freaking 15 years. He doesn't call plays, but I don't know that he'll call plays in Miami. He can still just design their game. I think Tua is basically like a left-handed version of Jimmy G. So I think that was part of the set, like selling item. Like really, he's like, okay, well, everything we did with Jimmy G, we can do with Tua, uh, because of just how he is. And I think like I don't know if you guys watch any of his clips or anything. He's hella funny. He's just like he's cool. But I mean, from every comment I've seen from all of the players and other coaching staff and other people been with him, he's like genius. Yale graduate. He's been, like I said, been with Kyle Shanahan, like his right hand man for 15 years. A lot of input in the design and run game. So I think it's good for the Dolphins. It'll be interesting to see because he's not going to have guys like George Kittle and Debo Samuel, which are kind of huge for our system, or Mostert. He might take Mostert though. He's a free agent, but I think it is a big loss for the 49ers. I will say though that we brought in Anthony Lynn as our assistant head coach, and I think that's awesome because I think that was like a Trey Lance signing. Anthony Lynn's really good with his run game. He had Melvin Gordon like have his best year ever. He helped, he helped like Justin Herbert in his rookie year. So I think like he has a lot of experience with these young QBs and just designing the run game and managing that 11 on 11 football that we were moving more towards with these mobile QBs. And I think just the general game experience. His big knock out of everything is just his game management, and that's not going to be on him. So that's fine. Like, and I think one thing we've seen from Kyle is him get conservative, or people say he chokes in some of these bigger moments. I don't know that he chokes, but I think he gets a little too inside of his own head and tries to get too cute or tries to like overthink things. And I think someone like Anthony Lynn can help him kind of just get through that. And so we don't have these fourth quarter collapses or get these play calls that are just too cute. Or like one of the big knocks from the championship game was Debo didn't touch the ball in the last like 12 minutes of the game. Like he's the best player. Like he carried that team to the playoffs. Why? Like I feel like that was Shanahan getting too cute. Like, oh, they know it's gonna be Debo. Let me give it to freaking Juice Check like up the middle and run behind Trent Williams to the left because I'm gonna try to fake everyone out. Like I think that's where it falls in line. So I think Anthony Lynn's an awesome hire. But I still don't know who's gonna be the OC. I think we might promote Bobby Slowick, who's our run game coordinator right now, and he's awesome too, but he's old. But he basically keeps our running. Like he's like the reason why everyone says like, oh, you can just give Shanahan a guy off the street. Like he's a running back guru. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, I'm happy for Miami. I think he'll be good. I think it seems like from what I've seen from the Dolphins, they're like hella supportive of him. So it is what it is. I guess with Brian Flores, like that's not a good situation, but it seems like they're at least supporting Mike McDaniel going into it. I don't know if you've seen his photos, but he looked hella like GQ when he got off his airplane and everything. It's like, hey, dude, looks fly.
He was
But
FaceTiming someone, right?
yeah, he was FaceTiming Tua. And
Tua, yeah.
yeah. And he's like, you guys can't hear what he's saying, but he wouldn't want to work for any other coach other than me. But like, so he's just funny because he comes into conferences. Like there was a reporter who was like, his name was Mike Jones. So he was like, Mike Jones. Well, he's like, who? And he's like, Mike
Oh
Jones.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
I remember that.
he's the kind of guy to go in, like he's the kind of guy to go into the Dolphins interview like after all that stuff and be like, man, it's been a tough week, huh? Like that's his kind of personality. Like
Personality,
yeah, like he's just, but again, he's super genius, but he's just like got this like weird, dry, like stupid humor. So I think it'll be good. It'll be a good mix for the Dolphins. I think he's probably gonna actually poach a few players from our free agency that would come back. I think we might see some of it. Like I said, I could see Mostert or Jeff Wilson Jr. following him. Even our right tackle, Mike McGlinchey, might go, but who knows? I don't know. So that's as far as like I kind of keep track of some of the head coaches. What about the Raiders?
Nah.
Boy.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I'll go. I like the hiring. You know, I think um
Can I just say, do you like it more than keeping Rich Bisaccia? Was you against that or were you for that?
um
That's a good one.
that is a good one.
That is actually a really good
Um,
question.
because I'm sure the players really rallied around him after all that, and then just getting into the playoffs, I think that really built that relationship with those players. But I don't know. I honestly think they probably didn't see him as a long term. I think they just, you gotta formality and you gotta give him an interview. But I like Josh McDaniels. He was over there under Belichick. I think I don't know. That guy is just a guru. So, and I know some of his former coaches really haven't had um, good outcomes. Josh McDaniels. When he was over there in Denver. But I don't know. I just think of year under Belichick, you got a lot. You learned a lot from him, and I think hopefully he has a better run with the Raiders this going. So I like it. You know.
My input on it, I like it too. At first, I didn't like it at all. Obviously, I wanted Jim Harbaugh out of all the coaches that were running up, but he was probably the better bet. But after seeing what Josh McDaniel and seeing his interview and going through all that, I think it's a good signing, especially with I think just him, not him alone, but him and our new GM,
Mhm.
the that was the director for the Patriots, director of players, right?
Yeah.
I think just both of them coming in, I think that's what made it better because they have a good relationship going, and then just like how you said, for him to go to Broncos, and then him coming back and learning like what he did wrong, realizing it, like he was too hard on the players. He wasn't. He was just making all the choices. Now he's actually like letting off, um, maybe to the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, letting them do their own thing, not just going off his word. And that's one thing that we struggled with Gruden, because I feel like Gruden had a lot to say for our team, coming from the draft, play calls, everything. So yeah, I think Josh McDaniels was a good hire.
Didn't Gruden have like one of the most complex and like huge playbooks of like all of the coaches? Like he had like everything in his playbooks.
Yeah.
I feel like
He did. I think it
Um,
was on what's that?
Hard Knocks.
NFL series, Hard Knocks. Yeah,
yeah.
QBs would go in and they didn't know what to say.
Yeah, it's funny though because the Patriots, like the knock on all the coaches that have left and then gone back is like they learn under Belichick, but they act like Belichick when they aren't like haven't proven they're Belichick yet. Like that's the big knock is that they act like assholes and they tell everyone it's like, bro, you don't have the credentials to do this. Like until we're winning, like so I feel like that's kind of the knock I've heard on a lot of the guys that leave under Belichick and
I
try
feel
to
like-
take head coaching jobs. And so maybe he learned from that, hopefully.
Matt Patricia really pointed that out because when Matt Patricia left on the Lions, I think the Lions players were coming out and saying, like, they personally don't like him and stuff like that. He was trying to just go in and be that type of Belichick, and honestly, these coaches just need to be themselves.
Well, didn't it happen with Joe Judge too?
Joe
Yes.
Judge, I think the players liked him, but
But he,
Patricia-
I heard he just was like, yeah, he was not a good coach. Like he was just a hard ass, and
yeah,
I don't know.
they all tried it. I think Josh McDaniels tried to do that in Denver too, but I think the second run around in coaches, I think he's going to learn from it. I think Josh McDaniels would be a good coach. I do think that Jim Harbaugh would win them more games, but I do think Josh McDaniels is still going to be a good coach for them.
Is that a loss for the Patriots again, or?
Oh yeah,
is
absolutely.
you think
Especially
so?
if you're Bill O'Brien.
Is the other mullet Belichick going to take over?
Steve?
what's he-
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Robbie, are you worried about Bill O'Brien coming back? I mean, especially when after all that stuff that happened in Houston, all those like horrible decisions that he made.
I mean, he might trade Mac Jones for a 6th rounder. With him, so I definitely don't want Bill O'Brien. We just hired Joe Judge as offensive assistant.
Great signing.
Yeah,
Great.
so I'm happy he's back. I think the players really loved him in New England too. So I'm really happy he's back. I don't know. I just don't know who's going to fill in our OC role. Everyone's saying Bill O'Brien, and I don't know. I feel like Tom Brady struggled a little bit when Bill O'Brien was there, when Josh McDaniels left the first time, and he picked right back up when Josh McDaniels came back, and when Bill O'Brien was gone. So I don't know. I'm really not looking forward to Bill O'Brien, especially with Mac Jones still developing. Still a young dude. He has still like a million things to learn.
Bill, the problem I have with like Bill O'Brien and those guys coming back, like there's no up and coming guys. Like really, you can't find anyone. You got to go back to your buddies. Like you got to. This guy needs his 15th chance. Like
yeah,
and he's not even with the time. Like he's not even with the time. Like the Texans were good because of Deshaun Watson. Like as soon as he was gone, it was done. They didn't have anything. I mean, they traded away DeAndre Hopkins and stuff, but you know, just some of these guys, like I just don't. I mean, it goes back to maybe the minority coaching or just the people talking about not getting chances. But it just seems like really there's Bill O'Brien. Like there's no one else you would want to treat like to coach that you're young, like rookie QB and maybe reinvent your offense. Like I don't know.
I totally agree, especially with the falling out with Deshaun Watson too. With him being there, I'm just not comfortable with Bill O'Brien.
Well, what is Bill?
Prove me wrong, but I'm just not comfortable with Bill O'Brien going there at all.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be a thing where they feel like, oh, if we hire this guy, he'll just follow what I tell him to do and things like that. Maybe it could be.
But does Belichick mess with the offense at all?
No. Yeah, when Josh McDaniels was there, it was Josh McDaniels' thing to coach. Belichick really just focused on the defense. It was Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels called the play caller too and everything. So it's a huge loss for the Patriots.
I know. I was hoping that.
Sorry, no, that's all I was going to say. Especially on Mac Jones' development, it's a huge loss for us.
I was kind of hoping. I don't know Joe Judge too much, but I know he was good at special teams. So I was kind of hoping because the Niners let their special teams dude, he was terrible. Their special teams coach, like I thought he saved his job from the one Packers game. But they were literally like 28th throughout the year. They were terrible. They gave up fake punts constantly. They couldn't return. They fumbled multiple times. Like they were just terrible. So I was like, when he had that one victory in the Green Bay game, I was like, oh my God, no, he saved his job for this year. But luckily they let him. I think they had a talking to him and they're like, hey, buddy, probably go find a new job. So he went and signed with the Bears. So I was really hoping Rich Bisaccia or potentially Joe Judge would be the special teams coach. So because we don't have him right now. So I wonder where that would go. I've heard mixed things about Joe Judge though, but I think the negatives come from his head coaching experience more than his special teams coach. So
yeah, I think.
I don't think he.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go for it.
I think Joe Judge. I don't think he got enough. Like, yeah, he had some bad like intakes, but I think he wasn't given enough time. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but their offensive coordinator was who? Jason freaking Garrett. Like, how do you?
Okay, but side note, who okayed him to bring Jason Garrett in? That was his decision,
I don't think it was his decision.
Oh.
I think it was the owner's decision. No. I think they had some kind of relationship or something like that.
I don't know, but was he the OC last year? Joe Judge was the head coach, right?
Yeah.
Not one wide receiver scored a touchdown, if I remember the stat correctly. Not one wide receiver scored a touchdown the whole year. The entire year. Yeah. Not one. It was all tight ends and running backs. Like, and it wasn't even Saquon Barkley. Like, and it was Mike Glennon or whatever the QB was. Like, I'm sorry. Was it Kenny Golladay? Because I know from my fantasy football team, like, what you just gave him a huge contract and you can't even get him the ball. Like, you can't get him. He literally didn't have any touchdowns the entire season. Like, how do you do that? Like, that's a mastercraft in, like, I don't know. And he also called the QB sneak on like on second down or something in their own like backfield, right? I think freaking who was it? I think it was on the Manning cast, and Peyton Manning and Eli Manning roasted him for doing that. So I think that was when the owner was like, okay, I got to do something. That was not good.
All right.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was gonna say, as far as like the head coaching stuff too. I think I'm gonna. I know we were talking about the obviously the Niners offensive coordinator who now is Miami head coach Mike McDaniels, and then we're going on, Josh McDaniels for the Las Vegas Raiders. But I really like that Kevin O'Connell signing for the Vikings, because what he did with Cooper Kupp did have like seriously like one of the most legendary years I think I've ever seen in a long time. And who's he going to go to? He's going to have Justin Jefferson, who's who's not this guy's really, really good. So I don't know if Kevin O'Connell might do that same Rams approach and just be like, hey, we're going to go all in, because it worked for them. It's working for them this year. I mean, they're in the Super Bowl, and I feel like the Vikings, just the only thing with them is their quarterback, Kirk Cousins. He had a really good year this year, but I mean, if Kevin O'Connell can like elevate his game, that's why I think Jim Harbaugh, especially going either to the Raiders or also to the Vikings, because Jim Harbaugh is so good with quarterbacks. He's just like when he was with Colin Kaepernick, like pregame, all that stuff before like they would play, he would always like pat him on like the shoulder pads and be like, let's get it going, like let's do it. And then like he'd have like an amazing game. Like he was such a good quarterback to coach.
Yeah.
I think Kevin O'Connell offensively, he's pretty good. I'm excited to see what they're gonna do going forward. And I don't know. I mean, I think I think he might just do an all-in approach for the
I think
Vikings.
that's up to the GM though. He's got to get, because the thing is that's Les Snead, who was the Rams GM, who really allowed that with Sean McVay. So it's really up to the owner, but it would be a philosophy change. My only thing with the Vikings is it's not necessarily even that it's Kirk Cousins. It's that you're paying Kirk Cousins like $40 million a year or something like that, something crazy. So like you can't build in free agency. Like you have to nail draft picks. And then the only thing I think the difference in Cooper Kupp this year to last year is Matthew Stafford, because Kevin O'Connell was there with Jared Goff, right? Suddenly Cooper Kupp has this crazy breakout year, the year that Matthew Stafford gets there and Jared Goff gets replaced. So I mean, hopefully he can still do that and Kirk Cousins do it. I think Stafford's better than Cousins, but Cousins is still a good QB. But I think the only problem is I don't know what Vikings drafts or their cap looks like and their draft capital. I think they're pretty high in the cap though, especially because like I said, they owe Kirk Cousins like $40 million. I feel like they're going to be one of those teams that's just stuck in perpetual mediocrity. Like
He didn't play bad.
Huh?
He didn't play bad last season. Kirk
Yeah.
Cousins.
But I just
I was
feel like
also
they're going
hearing
to
that
be
he
one
might
of
do
the...
an extension. Sorry, Nick, go ahead.
Oh my God, an extension for Kirk Cousins. See, that's like where
I've been hearing about that.
I feel like at some point the NFL is going to get more money ball and they're going to start getting more like, they're going to stop just giving these like QBs that are just on the brink, like these huge contracts, say, no, I'll just go try to find someone else. And then I'll build a team around them. Like, I think we're right around that with Kyler Murray, like how they got rid of Josh Rosen and they went and got Kyler Murray.
Oh yeah.
I think they're hesitant on Kyler Murray now because he's kind of just had this attitude. He's been injured a lot of the games. He's shown flashes, but he also like, I don't know. Would you guys feel comfortable extending Kyler Murray right now?
No, I wouldn't.
I would probably see how he does.
Trade him.
Well, is a 5th-year option. The 5th year is an option, so they have him for this
Yeah.
year. So I would probably see how he does this year. And
But I think
Sorry, I was going to ask you guys, as far as going with that Kyler Murray question. I mean, does everyone in here believe that Kyler Murray can win a Super Bowl with the Cardinals? They just say if they signed him long term, just say for like a 4 or 5, he's there for like another 6 years. You think he can win one Super Bowl?
keep Cliff Kingsbury.
Ah,
He's the worst coach in the NFC West. I don't care what anyone says. As long as they have him, they will never win. He couldn't win with Patrick Mahomes in college. So what does that tell you?
all right, let's go back
Got a head coaching job. Sorry. Go ahead.
back to the coaching question. All right, last one. Who do you think out of all the new hires is going to have long-term the best career? Let's say 5 years from now.
Who have the new coaches? So we have Vikings, Raiders,
yeah,
Giants.
Vikings, Miami,
Miami.
Vegas,
Saints.
Jacksonville,
Denver,
Giants,
Houston,
Broncos,
Denver,
Vegas.
Saints, Giants.
Chicago.
9 head
Someone say
coaches.
Chicago?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I honestly kind of think might be sneaky? I don't know that I trust this coach, but Jacksonville could be sneaky good in like a couple
Dude,
of
I
years,
was
'cause
thinking
they're
the
gonna get the
same
first
thing.
round pick again. They're gonna have Trevor Lawrence. He's not bad. He had like
Mm-mm.
think of the shit show he put up. Are we gonna curse on this show? I don't know, but oh well. whatever.
Nick,
Think
you've
of
already
the
said
show.
fuck like 3 times already on the show.
No, think of like what he put up. Think of what he put up with, and then now they're gonna get probably the number 1 edge rusher They're gonna have him. They got that other guy. Who's that speedy wide receiver or that running back guy they had that was really
Oh,
good?
Travis Etienne they
Travis
got from
Etienne.
Clemson last year.
Etienne. No, but there's also another guy.
James Robinson.
Yeah, Robert.
Yeah,
They have
James
Robinson.
I think they have some sneaky good players, and I don't know that they'll still be good this next year. So they might still keep getting these high draft picks to where they can build up that team. And if they give Doug Peterson enough time, I mean, he took the Eagles and Carson Wentz to the Super Bowl. So I think they could be sneaky good. I think what it's really going to come down to is how much time each team is given. But I think Jaguars could be sneaky good. I think Chicago could be good if Justin Fields turns out like he should,
I hate
then he
that
could be
signing.
good. If he flops, then they're done. Other than that, I think maybe the Raiders, Dayball. Question on Dayball. Okay, so let's go back. Is Dayball coming in as a new QB? A new head coach. They're gonna have a new GM. Is he gonna say, "Yeah, I want to tie myself to Derek Carr for the next 4 or 5 years," or is he gonna let him walk and try to get a new QB then? Because I think that might determine how long his. If he can get a new QB in the next 1 or 2 years, that automatically gives him an extra couple of years to try to work it out.
Like a new
Josh
QB
McDaniels?
from
Josh McDaniel, sorry.
a new QB from free agency.
I don't know, from anywhere. Do you think? But do you say, like, as I'm a new head coach, I'm coming in, I got a new GM, I got Derek Carr with what, one year left?
Yeah.
Am I tying myself to Derek Carr and extending him, or am I saying no? I'm going to figure out something else. Like, I think that'll determine his success there.
Yeah, I think it could go both ways because when Gruden came in, everyone kept saying that Gruden's gonna get rid of Carr. Gruden's gonna get rid of Carr. Never happened, and the rumors are starting about Josh McDaniels too, that he's not gonna stay with the same thing with Denver. You know, in Denver he didn't stay. He went and got
Drew Lock.
No.
Oh.
When Josh McDaniels was in Denver.
Some Tebow.
Then he got
Yeah,
Tebow.
there you
He
go.
got Tebow.
Yeah.
Oh, he'd be good on your team. Do you think he'll come back?
Nah.
No.
Isn't that guy
No,
playing baseball now?
No, I think he
baseball.
got
Tight end
kicked out of
last
baseball
year.
now too. He was doing it for a little bit.
Yeah.
He did come back, didn't he?
Yeah, he was the tight end for the Jags.
Oh yeah, he was a tight
For the
end.
Jags, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
No, but yeah, I think Carr could go either way. If obviously we get good draft picks out of him to trade him away, I say why not? Let's start fresh.
I think if you
But
guys,
he's not. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. I interrupt.
I was just gonna say he's not a bad QB. I don't think he just hasn't had a head coach that actually stuck through him the whole time, you know. And all the offense too. Name one good receiver that he had besides this past season.
Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, that's
Still
what I'm saying.
waiting
Like
for his
this past,
breakout year.
That is one thing that I think Josh
Crabtree.
McDaniels will do because
He's
in
got
sort of that
Waller.
Patriot way. I think
Waller's a wide receiver 1.
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But I do think Josh McDaniels will insert that Patriot way. I'm not saying I know there's a lot of Raider players that obviously made very poor choices, but I think he's the type of person that can come in that locker room and be like, you know, if I even see you like post anything stupid, you're off the team. That's it. It's just you're done. I'm not going to play this game with you guys. That's the thing I do like about Josh McDaniels. I think learning that from Bill Belichick. But I think as going back on the question, you know, like to which I like that Miami head coach. Miami head coach is pretty cool. They got a really solid defense. I mean, they won I don't know. Was it 6 games? Between 6 and like 7 or 8 games, something like that
I
straight.
think they won.
I just don't worry as much about the coaching from Dolphins as I do Tua. And it's really dependent on, does Tua really suck or can he be good enough? That's where I think McDaniel will be fine. I think it really depends on what happens with Tua.
I do feel bad for Tua though, because Tua, I feel like since he just got there, they were already talking about like trading him, and he just like got there. And I feel really bad because he never had like no trust. So I feel like maybe Mike McDaniel says, "Hey, I'm going to trust you for like obviously, you know, maybe for like a season or two and just see what happens." But I think they have a really good wide receiver. That rookie was fantastic last year from Alabama.
Waddle.
And they got really good running backs.
Yeah.
They got an extremely good defense. I think they just keep building. I don't know how many draft picks they have this year, but
they got a lot still, I think.
Yeah, I believe so. They have a lot. So yeah, that team kind of scares me, to be honest with you.
When Tua came back off the injury, he did pretty solid. He got the offense going, and I think they won a lot of games, right? When he came back.
Yeah, they were on a crazy hot streak. Like they were just
Yeah.
dominating
Yeah, I think-
everybody. I was
I
like,
think they can. It's just a matter of getting it together. And again, like
And
I said,
then
I think with the Raiders, it depends on what QB they have. If they land Aaron Rodgers, yeah, he'll probably be pretty good. You know, it depends on Russell. If Russell Wilson goes there, I'd say, yeah, he's got a probably pretty good chance of being the head coach for a little while, or you know, it just depends.
Yeah.
out of all the coaches that were hired, which ones is your least favorite? For me personally, I think it's the Bears. The
Yep.
Bears head coaching, I don't like it
Horrible
because
hire.
his background. Well, last season he was the Colts defensive coordinator. I'm just sick and tired of the Bears always like being so defensive. Like I feel like they should get like that offensive coordinator mind and help this kid Justin Fields out. I
Yep.
mean, they're always like,
Yeah.
hey, let's get the game low scoring and like run the ball and all that stuff. I feel like this kid's pretty good, especially coming out of college and all that stuff. Like I feel like I just think like they should have gotten an offensive coordinator minded head coach for him.
I agree. I think that's probably my least favorite also,
Yeah.
just because of Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields had the highest in my going off like the draft and everything. I think Justin Fields was like he was up there with the QBs. I think he could have done a better job if he had like the right coaching staff around him
I
last
think
season.
Matt, I think Matt Eberflus could have been a good coach, but I just don't think the Bears is the right fit. They're getting a development guy with Justin Fields, and Justin Fields showed some major flashes last year, especially when I think Matt Nagy got like COVID or something. He missed a game. He balled out that game.
It was against the Raiders.
Oh, yeah, my bad. I think Matt Eberflus is just gonna. I don't know. I just feel like they could have done so much better for Justin Fields, and they were one of the first ones to hire a coach too. It just, why not go after Kevin O'Connell? Why not go after like Nathaniel Hackett, Brian Daboll, like coaches like this that really would help Justin Fields in the long term?
Well, they did hire the Packers QB coach. So
Yeah, but he has Aaron Rodgers. What do you think he does?
Like,
Hey, Aaron, do your thing. Like, let's work
Yeah,
on
he has
some
the
stuff.
easiest job of all time.
Hey, I'm just
I see
saying.
how confident they are in Jordan Love. So, like, that's like saying I got Tom Brady's QB coach. Oh yeah, the dude that just sits on the couch all day and doesn't do anything.
hey, you never know. You never know.
Talk about like riding the coattails. The guy that shows up for the group assignment and gets the A but doesn't do anything. I kind of don't like the Texans coach. I Lovey Smith or whatever it is.
Smith.
Only though because I think they chickened out on Brian Flores because of all the stuff that happened. And I think he was set there and they were wanting to do it. And then all the drama happened. And I think they just fell back on, okay, we'll take Lovey. Like he's already on the team. We're going to like, I think they're settling for just status quo instead of actually trying to do anything. And I think that's just, I just am disappointed in the organization as a general. For just not moving forward and trying to like actually improve the team. And it's nothing against him. So I hope he's successful, but I just think that I was disappointed that they didn't go with Brian Flores. And I don't know what happens with Deshaun Watson. I don't know about the allegations or whatever, but I know Deshaun Watson wanted Brian Flores as a head coach. And so I think they were moving that way and it would have been something for that, but I don't know. It is what it is, I guess. So we'll see.
The whole mess over
I
there.
think Lovey's a good coach, but I just think he's going to a horrible team. That's just
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. They're settling on, okay, well, we'll just suck. We're just gonna do whatever, cash in our profit. It's like Washington Redskins, or Washington Commanders. You can bleep that or whatever. It's like Washington Commanders, like they just settle for mediocrity and collect their checks for their tickets and stuff. It's like, okay,
Detroit Lions.
We'll just stay whatever it is. Yeah, but Detroit Lions. I love Detroit Lions actually. Like Dan Campbell, like I kind of love him now after this year, and just like just seeing him. Yeah, just going crazy, but like every game you just saw them like saying, "Hey, we got nothing. We literally have nothing to lose,
Yeah.
and no one like expects us anything of us. We're doing everything. We're doing fake punts. We're doing that. Like we're going for it. Like they were going crazy, and they were doing some good games towards the end of the year, even with Jared Goff. Like, and when they celebrated the first win, like I feel like everyone was like, "Yes, finally!" Like he was like crying in his press conferences, like all these close, like last second, like field goal losses and stuff, and like I think he's got something over there. Like if they can just dedicate some time and build out that team and not have Jared Goff. But I think there will be something, but I like the Lions. Like I don't normally care for them, but I thought they were fun to watch this year just because they had nothing to prove and they were kind of just going for it.
Yeah, I like
I
Dan
agree.
Campbell too, but the
I agree
Lions,
with that.
I don't know, they're just
They got the Megatron
There's
curse
something-
ever
there's
since they
something
didn't
that's
pay
just not clicking.
Megatron, and they kind of screwed over
It was
Barry
all gone, yeah.
Sanders. But it is what it is. But yeah, ever since the Megatron curse, they've been doomed.
How do you guys feel about Dennis Allen? I just saw he had a record of 8-28 with the Raiders when he was on there, and then now he got a head coaching job. He's definitely not going to fill Sean
Who's he
Payton's-
coaching?
The Saints.
The Saints.
Saints.
That's tough,
just-
man. That's such a
he's-
tough.
He's
so
coming
tough.
to a team that's like also a mess. It's like with no cap space.
No cap space.
I think so.
Yeah.
Here's my tinfoil hat too. As I watch it, Sean Payton basically like abandoning that team after like Drew Brees leaves. They have this huge cap issue. This is
Take
like
54?
I honestly predict this is what Sean McVay is gonna do in like 2 years when they've sold all of their. He's gonna hopefully win a Super Bowl, and he's gonna get the team just completely in this crazy cap with no picks. And then he'll just leave because if he want to be a head coach, his contract, I think, expires in 1 or 2 more years. Who's not going to hire him? Why couldn't he just go anywhere he wanted? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly kind of
Yeah.
think like he's just doing all this. And then to get the Super Bowl, if he gets the Super Bowl, I could see him piecing out. Like I could see him like piecing out in like a year. Even he could even retire because he's kind of talked about like he doesn't even need to keep doing coaching. Like he might just get a Super Bowl and then just peace out and be fine with it. But I don't think he's going to be Rams long-term coach, to be honest with you.
Same.
All right,
we talked about a lot of head coaches and stuff, but I wanted to go back on Coach Weiss for Ray about his defensive coordinator getting fired this past offseason.
Coach, which coach?
Your guys'
DC.
defensive coordinator.
Greg
Oh,
Roman.
Don Wink Martindale.
Yeah, I heard a lot
Yeah,
of
that
Ravens
was
fans
great.
were
Yeah, that was a crazy little
disappointed
thing that
about it.
happened. Yeah, so the guy that we got was his name is Mike McDonald. He's the Michigan Wolverines. He's actually the defensive coordinator for that team that we got him. The kid's actually pretty cool. He kind of reminds me. He's like 30 years old, 30 something, 35, maybe 40. I'm not really too sure exactly on his age, but he's young. I think for whatever reason, John Harbaugh and Don Wink Martindale, I just think they had a philosophy issue, to be honest with you. I think it's kind of messed up that we did let him go because of all the injuries that we had on the team. So I think it was a little. I'm happy for him now. He's actually on the Giants, so he's going to be with Brian. I always forget sorry about his last name. Is it Dayball or is
Dayball.
it Dayball?
Dayball, yeah.
So I think they got a good defensive coordinator. He's really aggressive minded. So, but I'm excited with our defensive coordinator from the Michigan. So I'm excited.
Wasn't he already with the Ravens before though?
No, he
Yeah,
was. Yeah, he
he
actually
was.
was an intern for Baltimore for like many years. So he knows the system. He knows obviously some of the players, but he knows like the staff. So he knows how the Ravens way basically. So I'm excited for him. I think he's going to play really, really good.
What is John Harbaugh's background?
John Harbaugh was a special teams coach. I
Okay, that's
believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Does he mess with the
was on
offense or
Eagles.
defense
He was
or no?
He's under the Andy Reid coaching tree.
Does he mess with the offense or defense at all or no?
He dabble. I think he dabbles in both, but he's really into the special teams because that's what his bread and butter was when he was in on the Eagles with Andy Reid.
Do you
I
guys
think he
think
dabbles in both.
do you guys think he should go to get Greg Romans?
Honestly, I'm being 100% real with you. I heard Eric Bieniemy actually his contract, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that the Chiefs guy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's the Chiefs
he was,
offensive
yeah.
coordinator. I would love Eric Bieniemy to go to Baltimore and for us to get rid of Greg Roman if that could happen. I think Eric Bieniemy, I get it, Andy Reid. I know he calls a lot of those plays, but I think Eric Bieniemy's design is just fantastic sometimes.
Yeah, Greg
just
Roman
really, really
just
good.
seems like he hasn't evolved almost from Kaepernick. Like
Mm-mm.
the offense is kind of like the same, almost the same thing we ran in San Francisco back in the day.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's a great run game coordinator. He's fantastic. He can get any job as a run game coordinator easily in the NFL. But his pass game coordination is just not up to par. So
It's hurting Lamar a lot on his throwing progression.
Yeah, I think it's
not
hurt.
according
Yeah,
to Moy. So he just can't pass apparently. So
I think it's hurting him, but I think this year, I mean, you're going to get obviously, I think you'll get more of an improved Hollywood Brown. I think it's going to be cool to see the wide receiver we got last year. I can't wait to see him progress. But yeah, other than that, it's going to be interesting. Can't wait.
All right. We'll be back after this commercial from our sponsor.
Dun, dun.